Joe Biden's losing black voters. Joe Biden's losing so many voters. Uncommitted voters. Uncommitted voters are now growing in mass. And I'm going to tell you all why that's happening. I will explain to you why this is happening. Because right now, the Democrats are not showing strength. Now, there's a reason why black voters and Latino voters, women voters, white voters, all voters are leaving the Democrats. It's because right now, you're not getting results. And oh no, goodness gracious, don't say this to Democratic voters, because Democratic voters, especially the more diehard vote blue, no matter who, liberals, well, they don't like it when their voting coalition breaks apart. They don't like it when the Democrats, or either that people who used to vote Democrat, are not falling in line and following the orders. So let's pull up this video here from Case Study QB. File Case Study QB. He's wrongly being censored. Let's play it.
But what is giving legs to this even idea that Trump has made some inroads in the Black community?
So here's the deal. I think that there is a level of frustration when it's not made clear what the quote unquote Black agenda is. And when you look at the numbers, you can talk about Black men potentially falling off. I don't know that I really think that there's this great exodus going to Trump. I think that if anything, some people are saying I'm not motivated because I'm not really feeling like I'm getting results from anybody when I vote. That's what I hear more of than say,
like
I
being
want to
disenchanted and there wasn't action on voting.
Exactly.
I mean, we got to know each other when you and the Democrats in Texas literally left to try to do something meaningful, and this feeling that wasn't matched at a national level.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly right. If anything, I hear, but what are y'all doing, or what's been done? And at least I have an administration that I can say this is what they're doing, and these are the things that they've done, and they've done great things.
Hey, listen, when I clip this video, type in the comment section below some of the great things Biden has done. Go ahead. Type, because I'm wondering what has happened since Biden took office. The economy is a complete disaster. The kids are still in cages. Hey, remember when AOC was doing those little protests? Remember, she was so upset? Yeah, those kids are still in cages. Sanctuary cities are still going belly up. The economy is a mess. As I said before, our infrastructure is falling apart. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Well, automobiles, they have their accidents here or there, but trains are derailing, and hey, planes are falling apart. You know, there's a guy who's in charge of that, who's in Biden's administration. Oh, yeah. First name Pete, last name Buttigieg. You have unchecked political corruption. And, of course, we have ridiculous wars happening. And, yes, the American education system is a complete joke. But, yeah, okay, Biden's done some great things. Like what? Make people go back to brunch so that they wouldn't be aware of the neoliberal nightmare that they're living in?
But if you've not told them, or if you've not experienced it, for instance, I can talk to you all day long about student debt relief.
Yeah,
I ain't got it just yet, but I do know people that
Oh, that's not a good thing to admit on air.
Have, right? Yeah. And so it's up to me to say, hey, talk to some of your friends because they have received it, and how is it affecting or impacting their lives?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to even ask you about this, but I have to because he's got such reach. So Joe Rogan's got this thing where, you know, rappers are into Trump now because he's a convicted felon. How crazy is that?
Listen, I don't believe the nonsense.
But how do you deal with it? Because it's disinformation, and he was a purveyor of it during COVID, and it had a health consequence. So I think people knew what to do with it. But
yes, because it's all Joe Rogan's fault. Everything's Joe Rogan's fault. And 50 Cent is rappers like Trump because what? Here's the thing. People, humans, I don't care where you stand, where you are in the world. This is the one thing humans, everybody, 7 billion of us, all of us beautiful wonders. We are visual creatures. We respond to those who clearly can make a mark in history, and yes, who have the loudest voice or the most shiniest of them all. Trump and his mugshot, it inspired his voters, but also anyone who's not politically attuned or connected into this looks at that and laughs. Because in this day and age, in this neoliberal nightmare, we need some form of entertainment. And yes, I know people are going to say, but wait, this election should be entertaining. You should be concerned. Majority of Americans don't participate in the electoral process. So when they see Trump and his mugshot and it didn't end his career, they're going to respond to it. any other politician, I am willing to bet $1,000. Well, hold on. I don't have $1,000 on me, but look, how about 1,000 thumbs up? There you go, right? Because I'm broke like that. Listen, any other politician would have ended their career. I mean, look what happened to Anthony Weiner. He had his own scandal, you know. He had his own infamous scandals here and there, but we had numerous politicians after. George Santos himself. All of these politicians who've had these scandals resigned. Trump didn't resign, and people respond to that.
I think, Leader Jeffries went to the floor to deal with this disinformation and this lie, and there was a forum for smacking down a lie by one in the body. When Joe Rogan was spreading disinformation about a health issue, I think everyone knew like that has to be dealt with. But how do you deal with disinformation about how people feel about Trump being a convicted felon?
Yeah, I listen.
Look, again, all this disinformation. Last I checked, didn't Fauci himself, speak before Congress? Now he's pretty much making it up as he was going along, right? Oh, it turns out, remember Cuomo, who used to be part of CNN? Didn't he also take ivermectin too? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because Dave Smith called him out on that shite. But it's easy to vilify Joe Rogan or anybody else, right?
Listen, they can glorify it as much as they want to. But I can tell you, as someone who's practiced criminal defense, that this ain't gonna work. If anything, is going to backfire. And I appreciate those that have decided to take to social media to say, listen, he is not like us. Like, he is not one of us. Like, he has been treated completely differently. Like, let me tell you, there has never been a criminal defendant, no matter what they've been charged with, that I represented, that said, oh yeah, let me just go talk noise about the judge.
Yeah. I want to give a huge shout out to Gray Walker joined third party. What concerns me is the lack of awareness of so many people. Yep. Named disinformation. True. Again, we have a system that doesn't represent us, the people. The system doesn't represent the people. And of course, it's not just only black voters that are walking away from Joe Biden and the Democrats. Biden faces growing warning signs from the uncommitted vote. Listen, uncommitted voters, be consistent, please, because it's made abundantly clear that Biden is not going to stop any weapon shipments to Israel. So President Biden lost more than 500,000 voters to the uncommitted movement. This uncommitted movement has done more than Cenk, a.k.a. Fat Tony, Marianne, the crystal ball wonder, and Dean Phillips, the guy who was there. All three of those have done nothing compared to the uncommitted movement in this year's Democratic primaries in an effort that has netted 30 delegates. 30. So uncommitted did better than Cenk, Marianne Williamson, and Dean Phillips. Okay? They have netted 30 delegates across 5 states that has underscored frustration within his own party over his handling of the Israel-Hamas war. Within this week, marking the last Democratic primaries in the United States for the 2024 election year, the uncommitted movement netted 10% of the vote in New Mexico and 9% in New Jersey, a state with a significant Arab American population. Those states fall behind Michigan, where more than 101,000 voters earlier this year cast ballots against Biden, and Minnesota, whose 45,000 votes netted the movement 11 delegates, the highest of any state. The protest vote shows the increasingly challenging task Biden faces of pulling voters back in before it's too late, something Democrats say that the campaign should be taking seriously. Of course, they should be concerned, one former Biden campaign aide said. If they're not planning to vote for Biden, they've already been disappointed. Donald Trump is a disruptor and a change agent, so he might be an appealing alternative for some of those people. Polls show Biden and his political rival, President Trump, running neck and neck, including in battleground states such as Michigan. And several polls have shown Trump running just ahead of Biden. Trump netted just a fraction of the Arab American voters that Biden did in 2020, but anger over the Israel-Hamas war could mean many of those same voters might just sit out the election this year. The abandoned Biden movement, which is behind much of the effort for protest votes, declared Thursday the conclusion of the primary season and our relentless march toward the general election. Our mission is clear. Joe Biden must be defeated, the group said in the press release. Let's say that again. Our mission is clear. Joe Biden must be defeated. We will not stand by. We are mobilized. We are furious, and we are committed in ensuring Joe Biden is defeated in the general election. The time for accountability is now. Please be consistent. And by the way, again, I've mentioned this before. There's a reason why the DNC convention is potentially thinking about making half of the convention online. They don't want to be disrupted. They don't want disruptors making them look bad. I mean, on yesterday's show, I talked about how Kamala Harris was being heckled on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Since the protest of vote effort was launched, Biden has offered a ceasefire deal that would, for the first time, lead to a lasting end to the war in Gaza, except Netanyahu gave it the middle finger. But that has done little to appease some of those behind the effort to go against the Democratic president. While those angered by Biden's handling of the war told The Hill in November that the president could still work to earn their vote, abandoned Biden rhetoric has become a full-throated throttled refusal to vote for the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee in November. Good. The movement said Thursday that Biden's speeches are nothing but diplomacy theater, a grotesque display of blame shifting while the massacres rage on. Trump, meanwhile, has called Biden weak on Israel and vowed to fix his mess if he returns to the White House. I doubt that, but okay. Though he remains short on specifics on how he would do so. The 45th president's Middle Eastern policies also angered many Arab Americans, highlighted by Trump's policy of banning people from Muslim-majority countries from traveling to the U.S. The 30 delegates earned by the uncommitted vote spans 5 states, with Minnesota granting 11 delegates, Kentucky and Hawaii granting 7 delegates apiece, Missouri granting 3 delegates, and Michigan granting 2 delegates. Cenk Uygur, Dane Phillips, Marianne Williamson. You 3 stooges are the biggest clowns ever. You got outdone and outperformed by the uncommitted movement. That's actually pretty funny when you really think about it. Michigan voters, however, turned out the most out of any of the state, with more than 100,000 votes cast. A total of 650,000 votes were cast across those state lines. Biden may also be facing a problem with lawmakers of his own party. One Democratic lawmaker who has not to be identified told The Hill that some of their colleagues, such as Representative Rashida Tlaib, are telling people not to vote for Biden over his handling of the war, and people are listening, adding to issues for the Biden campaign. Again, yes, Democrats, you did this to yourselves. I'm not going to give a damn, and I'm not going to cry for you. You're pathetic. You're weak. You don't have a dog in you at all, and yet it's somehow my fault, or somehow I need to convince my viewers that, they need to vote blue? No. Politics 101 is you earn the vote. Democrats, you pissed off black voters. You pissed off Latino voters. You pissed off Arab voters. You pissed off white voters. You pissed off men. You pissed off women. You pissed off old and the young. You made everybody angry at you because you never followed through with your promises. You are a weak administration. An administration surrounded with nothing but leeches and parasites and pests of all those natures. And somehow what? We have to vote for you because Donald Trump? Oh, no, it's the orange boogeyman. Oh, no, we got to be afraid of Trump. I'm not worried about a Trump presidency. What I am worried about is if the American people are still going to get consumed and tricked and played along with by the neoliberal system that has been ruling over us for decades. Get money out of politics, break the system, support citizen ballot initiatives, abolish all political parties, again, get money out of politics, break the corporate monopoly that the media has over us, and now more than ever, we got to fight for that better future. Democrats, I don't care what happens in November. I'm going to end this on a same humorous note like I always do. In November, I'm going to vote, and I won't be voting Democrat or Republican. I'll be voting third party and independent. In November, after I'm done casting my election, I'm going to get a nice ribeye steak, and I'm going to have a delicious meal. And no matter how the election night turns out, all I know is this. The world is still going to keep on moving along. And Democrats, if you lose, your meltdowns will be so delicious to watch. I can't wait for it.